Yo, what is going on YouTube? It is your boy GZTV. I can be as loud as I want. No, I'm just kidding. But we are here with another video, another entry into we are talking Guardians of the Galaxy today, but another entry into the MCU. I can't remember what year this came out. I believe it came out in 2022, but the holiday season is rolling around with about a week away till we're officially kind of in Christmas season after Thanksgiving. We have the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Going into this, I expected something light, funny, and festive, obviously to get us into the Christmas spirit. Not a massive MCU entry, but a fun palate cleanser with some Christmas energy, just to kind of give us a break from all of these 3-hour long-ass movies. And we took a little bit of a break with Werewolf by Night as well, and this is another kind of excursion in that respect. The Guardians have always been one of my favorite corners of the MCU, so this was easily one of the most exciting stop-offs on the Disney Plus route so far, because we know that's kind of the era we're entering, where Disney Plus kind of took over creative control for a lot of the Marvel stuff. But here you go. And honestly, for 45 minutes, this thing absolutely delivers exactly what it promises. This is one of my favorite things we've seen in the MCU in the last couple of entries. So let's get into it. I'll explain why. So getting into the premise, it's a pretty simple formulaic setup. It's perfect though. I really like it for a holiday special. Kraglin tells Mantis and Drax an exaggerated Christmas story from Peter's childhood, where Yondu supposedly ruined the holiday forever. Obviously there's some funny twist, and this is a pretty humorous part of the universe. Wanting to fix that wound, the duo heads to Earth to find the legendary hero Kevin Bacon and bring him back as a Christmas present. And I'll get into everything, but my god, I think it's so funny how we're putting this guy on a pedestal. I mean, obviously it's Kevin Bacon, like he's a legendary actor, of course I'll give him his respect, but still. They get drunk, misunderstand every human custom, steal half of Hollywood's decorations it seems, beat up a squad of cops, kidnap Bacon, and bring him to nowhere in the most chaotic way imaginable. Obviously they don't understand that though, because they're not humans, only for Peter to find out what's going on, shut it down immediately, like, no, we don't go to Earth and fucking kidnap people, because obviously he's a human, he knows that's a fucking crime, all this stuff. But things turn as Kevin Bacon kind of embraces the Guardians, kind of embraces this new environment and this group of people who are kind of lost in the world and don't really know what Christmas is, don't really know the joy of that. You know, he teaches them about it. Peter learns that Mantis is actually his sister, which is pretty important. I do kind of like how they threw that detail in there, given that this isn't a super important part of the universe, but they added that in there, so it's kind of worth watching as a full thing in the journey. A reveal that frames again, this entire special is much more emotional than expected. Cute cartoon flashbacks, deep cut musical numbers, a warm family finale, and the return of Yondu in the best possible way complete this surprisingly touching short. So with that being said, let's get into it. So getting into the good, and I will be honest, I don't think there's anything bad about this short at all. I think it hits a lot of marks. First of all, just the holiday vibes, kind of what we're here for, kind of what we expected out of this being a holiday special. Peak Christmas energy. This is amazing. This is perfect. Decorations everywhere, cozy lighting, unique Christmas songs, and a vibe so strong it can make July feel like winter. Like, I'm watching this in November, and obviously I'm not really quite in the Christmas spirit yet. I still have Thanksgiving coming up, you know, spending time with family and all that stuff, but this is great. It really makes you feel like you're in that time. And again, if I watched it halfway through the year, I would be like, damn, it's fucking Christmas, let's open some fucking presents and put our goddamn trees up. The Hot 97, I can't remember what that band's called, the Hot 97s style band serenading Peter is a highlight. It's impossible to watch this without getting into a good mood. I think it is overall just a very feel-good short, and I think that's a very good positive on that. Next is the comedy. I do think they nailed the comedy better than they have in recent versions of Guardians of the Galaxy. Obviously, I haven't watched the third one yet, but the first two, I think this is better at comedy and more appropriate. This is the funniest the Guardians have been, probably ever. The Earth tradition satire hits. I really like the satire they go for here, and this is the perfect film to do it, because you really don't have to worry about like having serious moments. This is just all holiday fun. So I think the Guardians of the Galaxy is the perfect piece of Marvel to pick for a holiday special, and they do it great. Drax's obnoxious laughing, Mantis matching his chaos was absolute gold. Kevin Bacon had these meta jokes in there, landed perfectly. It was great, kind of like commentating on his whole career and all of this stuff. That was hilarious. And Nebula saying not all actors are pieces of shit is so on brand, man, and it's so fucking funny. And hearing Nebula say stuff like that and hearing her like start to kind of dance a little bit in that goofy style, I love it. And just kind of getting into the emotions of it all. I know I talked about how it's a feel-good short, but the emotions are great. The Yondu flashbacks, very sweet. I loved it. I love his inclusion as one of my favorite characters in the entire Guardians of the Galaxy franchise so far. The finale hits harder than expected, I would say, especially with like Mantis and Peter with the sibling reveal. It could have hit harder, I will say. Like, we got to it and it was like, okay, if we didn't already know it beforehand, but it still lands. Groot's gift models were absolutely adorable. I fucking loved that at the end of the film. Just the emotion was great. Just getting into Drax and Mantis as kind of the leads, because we don't normally see them as leads in this universe, but it is such a cool thing. They completely carried this, and they did such a good job. I mean, look at them in the movie poster. Look at the chemistry between these two that they've kind of been building in the last couple of movies, and now they're here as leads. Their clueless Earth adventure is hilarious and heartfelt. Their chemistry is great, and giving them the spotlight instead of like Rocket or Peter or both was a fresh and rewarding shift. And this is a fresh and rewarding shift in general in the MCU, given that we're not like on a serious plot line. And I think that's kind of just the whole purpose of this thing, is to kind of take a detour a little bit and take a break from all of the action. Kevin Bacon was great as well. I loved him in this. Way more than a cameo, way more than just, hey, we're just going to use this actor to like get people to watch our film. He is the plot. He is the whole point of this thing. He plays himself perfectly. Confused, terrified, then strangely proud of helping save Christmas. His presence elevates every scene, and I'm very happy he was included here. Kind of talking about the place of nowhere and like the world building that they do with this little short here. The dumpy, Mad Max looking asteroid town feels lived in, dirty, and full of personality, just like it has in the previous Guardians of the Galaxy films, exactly as it should. And then you get into like the whole holiday makeover and just kind of going with the Christmas themes overall. It's like, man, this is awesome. It makes you feel really happy. Turns into a literal Christmas wonderland. Great use of the location, great use of kind of like this corner of the universe overall. And I think even the music in the soundtrack was pretty damn good as well. Unique Christmas choices instead of the typical recycled hits. You don't see like Mariah Carey or like Bublé or all those people. I think Frank Sinatra's had a couple Christmas songs that you see in a bunch of movies. Plus that opening musical performance gives this special its own identity, again with the band. Again, I will pop it on the screen, whatever that band is called, but them kind of popping in and performing was fucking awesome. The action, obviously pretty minimal, but it was very fun. I loved it. More playful chaos than real action, but that fits perfectly with the holiday special and with what they're trying to go for. The cop fight is super goofy, like flipping the car over and like going in. Does this look like a man to you? Like, that's all great. It's not meant to be Avengers level. It's not meant to be an absolute spectacle. I think that's overall what the holiday special is. It's not supposed to be a spectacle. It's just supposed to be detached for about 45 minutes and have a blast. Kind of like has like the Home Alone energy with Marvel. The writing and dialogue is decent, clean, funny, well-paced, and self-aware. Nothing feels forced or overly MCU formulaic. Again, nothing here is going to be Oscar worthy. I've been saying that about so many damn things, but that's fine. The story and the stakes is good. The stakes don't really matter here. Again, you're kind of just having fun in like a Christmas wonderland. That's the point. Again, a self-contained Christmas present of a story. Simple, warm, and effective. Obviously, the visual and practical effects are great as always. I think Marvel will always elevate that as a movie studio, as they have over the years. Surprisingly clean for a special. It's not like they just had their actors come in for a couple of days and like, oh, shoot this scene and we're done. No, they put a lot of effort into this. Like the grainy holiday movie look, sure, it looks kind of grainy, but that is kind of the point. That's kind of like the Christmas aesthetic that they were going for, and I think that's great. Groot's costume is goofy in the best way possible in the final scene. Lighting, decor, all great. Length and pacing is good. I think 40 minutes is perfect. It is absolutely a perfect length for a Christmas special. It never drags, never rushes things. They kind of just get to the point and then you're done. It leaves you wanting more kind of in a good way. Like, man, can the Guardians of the Galaxy come back in 2025 for a holiday special? I don't think they're going to do it, obviously, but that would be amazing. It's not like an incomplete thing. Like, oh, I could have had more. Like, the story needed more. It's like, oh, I had so much fun. Where's the rest of it? So, there you go. So, getting into the okay, I will say the only thing that I'm kind of mixed on is just the usage of the team. And again, this is going to be the final section of the video because there's no point in talking about bad things. This is a holiday special. This is what we're doing. We're having fun here. Just the team usage. Obviously, Cosmo is kind of like an add-in from the recent film. Is hilarious. Groot being a Christmas tree is peak. Groot usage. How funny is that? Using the joke of him being a fucking tree and turning him into a Christmas tree. It's perfect. They thought of pretty much everything they could for this thing and put it in there. Everyone else gets a small but meaningful moment. Not overstuffed, not wasted. Sure, you would probably want Star-Lord to be a little bit more of a part of this special given that he is like the main character, but still I really enjoyed what they did with this. And again, everyone has their moments. Nebula has the dancing and the not all actors are pieces of shit, and obviously Drax and Mantis kind of taking over as leads. It's obviously not the greatest usage, like some people could have had more spotlight. Kraglin was great. Yondu came back. I think this is a solid thing. So getting into the review, this is going to be very positive, and maybe it's not super fair to like rate this as high as I'm about to, given it's a holiday special. It's not supposed to be taken serious, but as a holiday special, as they executed it, I think this is easily one of the most joyful and entertaining things Marvel has put out in this phase. Phase 4, I think, is where we're at. And this is one of the most entertaining movies I have seen in the MCU since we covered the last couple Avengers movies. Heartfelt, hilarious, visually charming, packed with Christmas spirit. I didn't say pull up the tier list, but we can go ahead and do that. It doesn't try to be more than it is, and that's exactly why it works. It just comes in, goes out, gives you a nice 45 minutes, and I know I'm saying this early, I'm giving this an 8.5 out of 10. I think this is very enjoyable. If you have kids, if you have family, and they somewhat like the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they like comic book films and superheroes, I think this is a perfect thing to kind of sit them down this holiday season and have them watch. Now, I know I'm pretty late to the party, given this came out a couple of years ago, but still, it is a near perfect seasonal special, and honestly, one of the MCU's most rewatchable projects. Like, I think annually, you could go back and watch this and have a lot of enjoyment. So that's really all I have to say. Coming up, we will be watching Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and then I do believe, very excited for this, we're going to be getting into the third Guardians of the Galaxy film, and then from there, it's kind of the films that have come out over the last couple of years. I guess GOTG 3 came out a couple years ago as well, but we are getting into the very modern films as we are gearing up for Avengers Doomsday. We have a Spider-Man movie, I think, coming out next year. A lot of stuff coming down the pipeline, huge movies for the MCU, and we're kind of getting caught up with it, and it's been a very fun journey. I think we've been very efficient with it. I'm not sure what we're going to do after this, but it has been a very fun time. I was going to watch some of the modern movies next year, but I didn't want to wait. So peace out, everyone. I don't really have much else to say.